I feel like I've taken my art to new levels. And no, I don't regret any of it.
Steve-O in particular created this legendary party animal persona that he had to live up to everywhere he went. I think part of it was natural. I think naturally he was that guy, but part of it too was just playing the role that you were expected to play.
Oh my god. You got two of them now.
All I know how to do is act like a jerk and make people laugh, you know?
That was rock and roll.
There's literally people in my head, like ghosts, people, they talk to me.
To this day, I feel like what that meant is that I just crossed this line into the spirit world. I was possessed by demons, and I think that that's pretty evident in some of this footage. I was born in England. My mom's side of the family is 100% alcohol, drugs, gambling, suicide, all the way up. As far as anybody can remember, every single person died of alcoholism, suicide, like, you know, whatever. Of course, with that said, my mom was the smart one, my mom was the funny one, my mom was the one with the personality. My dad's side of the family was 100% theologians, zoologists, clergymen, super decorated academics. Nobody ever on my dad's side of the family made a lot of money, but they were just respected, good-ass people. My dad was sort of the black sheep of the family for going into business. My dad was this hustler, baller-ass corporate executive. I'm a hybrid of these two family trees. I've got my dad's drive, and that's the engine for my mom's deviance. When I was 6 months old, my family moved to Brazil because my dad became the president of Pepsi Cola in all of Brazil. I was raised by fucking like these Brazilian servants that lived in the house. So I spoke my first words in Portuguese. Yeah, I grew up in 5 different countries. My parents just didn't pay attention to me at all. I wanted like so much attention and like I would act out and just like turn everybody just off. And like I was just not like a comfortable kid. And I had like a really like bad social skills. And so like I was always uncomfortable. So every time my parents told me that we were going to move again, I was like, oh, sweet. You know, I got another try. Yeah. And I was like, this time I'm going to be cool. And everywhere we went, there I was. I started skateboarding within, I want to say, half an hour of walking out of the movie theater, having seen Back to the Future in 1985. I was living in London, England. There was a skateboard on my street laying around. I thought nothing of it. But I came out of that movie theater and went straight to it.
It's an absolute dream.
I just started messing around with it, you know. My dad won a video camera in a golf tournament. I stole it from his closet and I started making skateboard videos. When I was 12, I moved to Toronto. Dad was the president of Nabisco, Canada. And I brought the skateboard with me to Canada, but I didn't have like a bunch of friends to skate with. And I just kind of dove more into like being a big like heavy metal music fanatic. I was a fucking rabid Motley Crue fan. I mean, I got fucking Motley Crue all over my bedroom walls. I'm fucking crazy about these fucking guys. Now, they come to Toronto for their Girls tour. They're doing Maple Leaf Gardens. And Nabisco, Canada had a skybox in the arena. My dad said to me, he said, hey, I know how much you love Motley Crue, and so I'm going to bring you to the concert. We can sit in the Nabisco skybox. And I tell my dad, watching Motley Crue through a plate glass window sucks. And he says, all right, well, basically fuck you. He's like, if you can do better, then we'll do better. Then we'll use your tickets, Right away, I'm thinking, they're going to check into the hotel under the name of their manager, Doc McGee. And I just straight start calling every fucking hotel in the Yellow Pages. And when the hotel answers, I'm like, will you please put me through to Mr. Doc McGee's room? My mom was just furious because I was tying up the phone. But my dad had never seen me this motivated to really do anything. And so my dad said, honey, I said, Mom, I'm calling Motley Crue. And dad said, honey, let the kid. And I probably spent 3 hours doing it. I finally got through. And this guy answered the phone. And I said, hello, is that Doc McGee? And he said, no, this is his brother, Scott. Who's this? And I said, it's in Motley Crue, no way. And he asked me how did I get the number, and I told him I called every hotel in the Yellow Pages, and he said, dude, that's awesome. He says, how would you like it if I put your name on the list for backstage passes, and I can get you tickets in the 5th row in the center. So there I was, and I got my picture taken with Tommy Lee and Nikki Sixx after the show. I went to high school all 4 years in London, England, at the American School in London, England. My dad was chauffeur-driven to work, and if I overslept at all, if I'm running late in the morning and I didn't have time to ride my skateboard to school, I would have to ride with Dad and catch a ride with his chauffeur. When Dad was running Del Monte, the canned fruit company, he took the family to Kenya. We come out of the airport in Nairobi, which is in Kenya. Come out of there, and there's just poverty, man. Like people with no shoes and tattered clothes, and there's flies all over, and they're begging you, and they usher us the family into this limousine, and open up they get us into this car, and the car's sitting there, and I'm inside the car looking at this poverty. I'd never seen poverty like that, but I remember thinking to myself, what the fuck have I ever done to deserve to be in the car instead of scratching at the car? And I felt ashamed, man. I felt ashamed of what did I do to be in this car, And I felt ashamed of the house that was so big. And I didn't want kids from school to see me get out of a fucking chauffeur-driven car. I would ride with my dad's reading the newspaper in the back seat. I would ride shotgun and hug the driver. To pretend the driver was my dad, There's this feeling of discomfort. I'm not comfortable in my own skin. I don't know, there's something wrong with me, but I'm uncomfortable. I need something to help soothe me. It was becoming pretty clear that I wasn't gonna be a name in skateboarding. So I determined that the skateboard had led me to the video camera, and that my true love was the video camera.
Being in front of it.
Not necessarily, but just making videos.
Okay.
I am completely crazy. You know it, baby.
The students in my school were largely American, very privileged. 80% of my senior class went on to Ivy League universities. I graduated from high school barely, and then I went to the University of Miami. And less than 2 weeks after classes started my freshman year, I was already on final disciplinary probation. And you don't have to be Sigmund Freud to look at how I grew up, and my alcoholic mom, my dad who was never home, who was a corporate executive. the University of Miami. They had an Olympic pool. Instead of going to class, I'd be like bouncing on the diving board. And I'm like, I'm never gonna be a diver, but if I jump strictly off of like roofs of like apartment buildings and shit into shallow pools, then it's badass. 1, 2, 3. And I just couldn't bring myself to go to class. I was already in trouble with alcohol and like anything that I didn't like care about passionately, I was just awful. And I failed my classes and I just dropped out. I just gave up. I just wasn't cut out for making it to class, so I decided that I was going to keep playing with that video camera.
Right.
And I was determined to become a famous stuntman.
Steve-O's dead and there's gonna be trouble.
I'm going to become a famous stuntman. Everyone's going to think I'm rad. And like everybody I told this to, they just thought, what a shame. What a fucking loser. Everyone just felt bad for me. And I don't know that I believed I would be successful with that. You know, like even with all my crazy skills with drinking bong water, like I couldn't get a job. The way that I came up was by spending money that I didn't even have to spend on VHS tapes and recording back and forth between 2 VCRs to make my edits, and then going to the post office with money I couldn't afford to spend to ship these tapes to anybody I thought would watch them who might be able to help me. And it was all people in the skateboard industry. And dude, I didn't get anywhere. And I found out about Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College.
Yeah.
It was statistically harder to get into clown college than Harvard.
I graduated from Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Clown College, which was statistically harder to get into than Harvard. So naturally, I was very proud of my acceptance. When I was going to clown college, my cousin was going to mortician school, and our mothers were intensely debating whose son was a bigger loser. And I didn't give that much of a fuck about being a clown. I just wanted to become this crazy famous stuntman, and I thought if I could graduate from this prestigious, you know, Ringling Brothers Clown College where it's so hard to get into, when I'm trying to become a famous stuntman, I'll have like some legitimacy where they'll be like, it's like, yo, I'm a trained circus professional. You've heard of the circus, and I'm like legit. I was like, dude, if I could graduate from there, people would take me seriously.
We would train 14 hours a day, and then I would start drinking and getting loaded and doing all my dumb shit.
Day number 2, clown college, dude. We've been partying every single night, and we are partying right now.
The first week, I had to get my head stapled together because I was skating and you know, ollied down these stairs and hit my head on this like cement like beam, and like I had to get 5 staples in my head, and it sucked because it's like, what are you doing? You know, it's like,
you're coming in fucked up every.
Yeah, what are you doing? This is a big opportunity. Like everyone else is taking it seriously. We're gonna bring you to the fucking hospital drunk.
Oh
you know?
my God.
And so I got in my own way a little bit. Dad wasn't supportive of me dropping out of college. He was not feeling clown college. He fucking hated every word I had to say about I'm gonna become a crazy famous stuntman. He fucking hated all of it.
Larry Flint publishes like 20 some odd porno magazines and 1 skateboard magazine. Big brother. simultaneous the whole time. Like, I was submitting stuff for Big Brother's, you know, the magazine and the videos, like, while I was doing this clown thing.
I graduated from clown college, but I wasn't one of the clowns that got picked to work for the animal-abusing circus.
I ended up getting a job on Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines as a clown.
Oh, yeah. Ooh! Yeah, the $1,000 man.
And I was fired unceremoniously. I was actually fired by the other clowns in my troupe. They apparently went to the cruise ship brass and they said, if Steve-O comes back for another contract, we all quit. I was generally disrespectful. I didn't think that the stuff that they were seeking to do as performers was cool, funny, or rad. I had my own skill set. I had a handful of really crowd-pleasing abilities. And I deserved to be fired. But I also think I deserved to be told that that was the case. I had our boss clown tell me, there's a clown mutiny. You know, it's time to call up your skateboard buddies and try and get something to happen because you have no job. And I called up Jeff Tremaine. Jeff Tremaine was in charge of Big Brother Skateboarding magazine. And when I made this call to him, I was trying to get on the cover.
So I called up these guys I knew at a skateboard magazine in California. I said, oh man, I'm gonna get on my stilts and light my whole stilt costume on fire. I'm gonna crack open a beer and pound it while I tip over and splat on the concrete. So these guys from the skateboard magazine said, we will shoot that.
Yeah, Steve-O.
Warning. The following show features stunts performed either by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. Accordingly, MTV and the producers must insist that no one attempt to recreate or reenact any stunt or activity performed on this show.
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
3, 2, 1,
It's a lot easier to get famous than it is to get rich. When Jackass started to air, I was unemployed, homeless, and people would recognize me and ask me for a picture or an autograph, and I'd be like, yeah, sure, like, can I sleep on your sofa? With the first season of the TV show, at the end of the day, I made less than $1,500. The first episode aired, 1 week later the second one aired, then 1 week after that the third. So when they got the ratings back, I got a call from the executive producer who said, it's official, we're the highest rated show in like the history of MTV.
Hello, my name's Johnny Knoxville, and I'm going to take a shotgun blast to the face. Okay, ready?
These guys are hilarious. They do so much funny stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not try this at home. Welcome the stars of Jackass, Johnny Knoxville, Bam Margera, and the lovely and talented Mr. Steve-O.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, go. Ow. 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 Oh my God.
Oh my God, are you okay?
We're here in Miami Beach with Jason Taylor, and this is the bungee jump. Are you ready, Preston?
Just go, just go.
3, 2, 1.
I don't have any like threshold, any high threshold for pain. I just have like such an absurd like hunger for attention. It's not that I don't feel pain, and for that matter, if I didn't feel pain, or if any of my buddies that we did Jackass, like in the absence of pain, there would be no reaction, which is what makes the footage compelling, you know. From this guy. He was like, hey man, I'm calling you from Cleveland. This guy was a rave promoter from Cleveland, and he says, I'm throwing a party and I want to fly you out to attend this party. And it was sort of a meet and greet kind of thing. We're just supposed to be there. We're supposed to appear. But as I was there was a fucking stage, and I was like, that's a stage over there. Well, yeah, what happened, like, I got on that stage, and I kept people at that stage, like over 1,000 people for over an hour. They gave me a microphone, and I was like doing like my fire-breathing acrobatics, like nut kicks, and like this, and I kept doing all this crazy shit, like cutting myself with the light bulb and chewing and swallowing the glass, like all my shit. And the Cleveland guy was like, dude, we got a show, you know, we got a show. And so we just, it turned into a whole world tour. And it wasn't stand-up as much, it was more like, I promise, I will be drunk and on drugs for your money back. That's my guarantee. That's my guarantee for every show. That was my guarantee. And contract. It was never in writing, but I held out my end of the bargain. Yeah. Moderation's never been my strong suit. Drug smuggling in Sweden. I mean, there's even a bunch of stuff I didn't even mention, like, you know, like being arrested all over the states and stuff.
All my wildest dreams came true. Like, I'm famous. And all the cliches about fame and fortune are all true.
My mom died in 2003. She was a binge drinker. When I was 9 years old, Mom announced to the family that she was dying of lymph node cancer. And it wasn't true. This was just to have an excuse to not get out of bed and stay drunk. She suffered an aneurysm in 1998, which was before I had any measure of success. She survived that aneurysm, but she was very disabled, both physically and mentally. So she was technically alive when, you know, Jackass came out, but she was very compromised. It would have been so fucking cool to have her like on a red carpet. The last 5 years of her life was just fucking terrible. Like, she was in great pain, and her last 5 years were traumatic. And that fucked me up a lot.
I have this problem with my mom died. And she cried for her last 5 years. I just want to make her pain never have happened. And I went on this berserk rampage trying to get a time machine. I destroyed my whole place. I love you, Mom. And I did all that for you.
When my mom had the aneurysm, which was on October 10th of 1998, we went to a local restaurant, like from the hospital, just for a meal. And then we go back to the hospital and kind of like be there. Mom was in, you know, this critical situation. Outside this restaurant, it's the first time I'd seen my dad in some time. And he said, son, like, you know, now that we're together, I just want to tell you, that I feel badly. I feel that I've done a disservice to you by not supporting you in this career path that you've clearly committed yourself to. And I had not made a fucking penny at that point. I was fat. Yeah, I'm going to be fucking rad. I'd like, you know, I had nothing going for me. I had achieved jack shit. And Dad said that he felt, that he had done a disservice. He said, I pledge to support you. It's not what, you know, what you're doing isn't what I would have chosen. Like with the Jackass franchise, I was a part of 3 theatrical box office movies.
Yeah.
And all of them were #1. You know, they were made with like notoriously low budgets, and the profit margins on the Jackass movies were astronomical.
I'm sure.
It was just like, you know, I even heard that Paramount was like in real trouble at one point, and it was a Jackass movie that, I mean, it's probably an overstatement to say that we saved them, but we certainly helped. The masterpiece was Jackass #2. And when it came out, I felt my life came to an end. I was like, you know what, no matter what I do after this point, nothing's ever gonna be as big of a deal. And so the rest of my life is just gonna be just a downward, depressing slide towards oblivion. I showed up at that premiere for that second Jackass movie, and I was so mad at that red carpet because it represented like the end of my fucking livelihood. It represented like the peak from which everything was going to be downhill, and I was just so mad at it, and I pissed all over it right in front of my 4-year-old niece. She was 4 at the time, and standing there on the red carpet watching me piss. And my dad was like, what the fuck are you doing? And I told my dad, this is my red carpet, I'll piss on it if I want. Ketamine was a big player at the, you know, at that time. Cocaine was always a huge thing. The nitrous oxide, PCP. At the end of my run with drugs and alcohol, I was utterly incapable of making it through a period of 24 hours without perpetrating any number of fucking things that made me feel so ashamed, so humiliated, so remorseful. Just, it was fucking hell, man. It was absolute fucking hell. See what I'm saying? I did drugs to the point where I was hearing voices. I watched a dude come out of the bathroom. He kept walking through the apartment. I watched this fucking dude fucking walk through the wall.
You know, let me hurry up and get more going.
around my apartment. People who were never there.
Oh my God, that was rolling. That was me really thinking I was talking to someone that I wasn't talking to. Like, Nature's is clearly the new demon.
Oh, bad news, bad news, bad news.
Apparently, Johnny Knoxville and Bam went there to Howard Stern and told him that they're worried about me because I'm so out of control on drugs. I said, what else is new?
I got my own television series. How do you like that? Am I making any sense? How am I even fucking here? Particularly on the third straight day of a cocaine bender with no sleep, like while inhaling nitrous oxide, shit would really pop off. Because here's my whole thing, and I kind of still believe this to this day, is, you know, that like our little three-dimensional experience is very small part of what's going on in the universe, right? There's
Right.
Like, there's dimensions, there's, you know, all frequencies, everything, and that if you do enough drugs, like the barriers between these different compartments of the universe become eroded somehow, you know? Like, I started hearing voices, and to an extent, I fucking believe still that shit was real. Okay, the first time I had like a spiritual intervention, I was sitting and I was inhaling nitrous oxide, and I was doing cocaine, and I had been doing so for 2 to 3 days. I was sitting in front of a big pile of cocaine, and I'm thinking to myself, as I go to snort another ridiculous helping of cocaine, I thought to myself, I'm killing myself. There is no longevity in what I'm doing. I'm dying. I'm dying here. Like, this is me killing myself, and I'm dying. And I thought very specifically, because I'll never forget this, I thought, I don't care if I die. As I thought, I don't care if I die, as a reaction to those specific words that I thought, physically, the spinning chair I was in fucking spun. It was like with the power of as if it was like a fucking mechanical bull. It was just like a fucking spun. And the message was clear that there's some entity that distinctly cares that I not die.
Did you think it was real, or were you aware
I knew
that
it was
you
real.
hallucinated?
I knew it was real, and to this fucking day it was real. To this
felt
fucking
that
day
real.
it was real.
But in retrospect, you're like, that was obviously a hallucination.
Totally fucking spiritual entities that I've
Okay.
right now.
So wait, you don't think it was a hallucination? You think they were real spiritual entities?
The fucking line is completely blurred.
Okay.
I actually hallucinated a full-on intervention. I actually watched a group of people file into my apartment and sit down to have this formal talk with me, but nobody was there. The living room was empty.
All these people showed up at my apartment. I watched them walk in. Some of them came right through the wall. And yeah, they sat me down to have this serious talk, and then it turned out that none of them had ever been there at all. And that's when you know your problem is really serious. When your hallucinations are worried about you. So I had to get sober, and I did. Right. I had an intervention that was in Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
Oh.
Put it all together, and it wasn't the kind of on TV when you watch an intervention, they ask, "Are you willing to accept help?" You know, like, will you go to treatment?
Right.
For me, they weren't asking. You know, they were telling me. And so that's what they did. They came over. There were 8 of them. And, Knoxville and basically the production team of Jackass. There was the director Jeff Tremaine, the executive producer Trip Taylor, the sound guy, one of the camera guys. It was like it was crazy. I was like spitting on people, as I recall. I wanted to smoke a cigarette, and I was screaming and yelling, and I tried to throw some chair or something. I was like throwing a temper tantrum and just being like generally unlovely. And then they jammed a needle in my butt cheek, and then I took a nap. And I'm knocked out, and then I when I wake up from my nap, I'm in the part of the hospital where like the doors just don't open. It was like a pretty intense situation. I was there for 7 days. By that time, my story was, okay, I'm willing to surrender, to commit myself to recovery. And I went from the psych ward straight to Dr. Drew's Los Encinas Hospital, where he was the director of the chemical dependency unit. I remember telling Drew, I said, I know that the statistics are really bad. Most people don't get sober. If I'm gonna do this, I wanna go all in. And so however long you recommend I stay in this unit, I wanna stay significantly longer. But what he said was, I don't recommend that you stay here for more than 30 days, but if you're really serious about it, then I recommend you go into a sober living, like a halfway house. And I ended up staying in a halfway house until I had been sober for 2 years. So I was going to film Jackass 3D and go get catapulted up into the sky, and I'm going to my halfway house manager, like getting permission to miss my curfew. It was pretty intense. In order to be sober, you have to deflate the ego. But it's but how do you deflate the ego and operate in this industry that's nothing but ego? It all is so counterintuitive, and it was so early sobriety is just so frayed and vulnerable and just not comfortable in your own skin. I had not found my voice, nor was I comfortable in my own skin when we filmed Jackass 3D.
Oh, seriously?
And I was approaching 2 years of sobriety when we shot that. We were a little over a month into filming when I turned 2 years sober.
Oh,
and
wow.
Still, it's a slow process.
Yeah.
So, to be a newcomer in sobriety on the set of a Jackass movie is woof.
Yeah. And that probably brought back old memories of filming when you were loaded and being around all these guys.
Yeah, I remember distinctly, when we were up at filming with at the Bull Ranch, and there was this tradition of when we wrap filming, everybody goes to the bar. It's even at the end of the bit, off to the bar.
Yeah.
And I remember going back to my hotel room by myself and being fuck, man. I remember this for some reason. I just remember laying in the bathtub and just being sad. Everyone's at the bar celebrating the camaraderie of a day's work, and I'm here alone. And then all this, I thought that for maybe 5 seconds. and I was if I go to the bar and take a drink, there is no day of work to celebrate. Going to bars, going to nightclubs, that's not on the table anymore. You gotta ask yourself, do you have a reason to go there? And I didn't have any fucking reason, but I had every reason to go to a comedy club, so that became my go-to thing at night. And so I'm sitting in the comedy club in my early sobriety, and I'm looking at the stage thinking, motherfucker, I should be on that stage.
Give it up for Steve-O,
I keep the people laughing, and fuck, I'm super grateful for it, man. It's been going very well. I no longer feel like I'm going to be dead imminently. Fuck, I've grown up so much, and in so many ways I've improved so much, and I've learned, I think I can say that I've learned that even if the popularity of Steve-O is not what it used to be, that doesn't mean that my life is miserable. Now I'm older, and at a certain point, it seems like running around trying to scam on chicks becomes kind of pathetic,
I decided if I'm gonna be happy in my life, I need to learn how to be in a healthy relationship, right? How many of you guys are in relationships? All right.
You know, like, I'm acting out sexually, and I made myself a promise. I was like, okay, I want to, in order to be happy, I subscribe to the idea that I need to learn how to be in a healthy relationship. So step one, working towards that, is no more hooking up with random chicks on the road. No more acting out. Like, my whole motto was, I am preemptively doing the work to become the man the love of my life deserves.
That's gonna make me cry.
Because if I were to meet the love of my life, I wouldn't.
And she would have no interest in you, first of all.
So I had to become that in order to be ready to meet
And
Lux.
I love that because I hear so many people, they're like, I just want like a good man and I just want a good woman. It's like, but you're not a good person.
Right.
Why, what do they see in you? Why don't you elevate yourself to where your equal be the kind of, the person that you want is not gonna be interested in you. You're gonna be just a fucking bunch of red flags.
We attract people who are as healthy as we are. We met on a job. She works in production design, set design, prop styling, wardrobe, and I was hired to do a job which never ended up seeing the light of day, but I still got paid and I met her. So we went on a few dates. We did things pretty responsibly and conventionally.
Well, yeah, she said you guys never kissed before you moved in together.
We took, a whole month of dating and, no physical action, which was,
But yeah, this first kiss, and then we kissed each other's pee-pees, and we lived together ever since.
Oh, there you go.
Anybody who has met my girl, who really cares about me, who has a close relationship with me, universally, the consensus is that I am a better version of myself because I am with her. Everybody, so I've been up on this billboard, duct taped, for an hour and a half now, a little more. Starting to get kind of sore. There are some cops over there, but they say they're not sure that I'm committing any crimes. I don't think so. I paid for the billboard, man. And I assured everybody this has been professionally rigged and safe, so hopefully nobody gets too upset, and hopefully the whole world gets the message about what I'm up here promoting. Swipe up to check it out. It's super crucial to me. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see how long I stay up here. If they let me, I'm thinking could be a while. All right, love you guys.
It's 9 in the morning right now, and apparently Steve-O taped himself to a billboard. I'm gonna go see what's up.
He basically has taped himself to a billboard out here. It's doing a little self-promotion. Obviously, he's got something going on right there. LA City Fire and LAPD, well, right now, they're just starting to get here on scene. It is on into Hollywood area. It's right off of Cahuenga.
Is it Steve-O? What? Oh my God, it's Steve-O! Is it Steve-O straight up?
Is he in any kind of peril? Probably not, but definitely a publicity stunt working this morning. Again, LA City Fire now arriving on scene, probably going to try to talk
up there.
Steve-O!
How are you? That's crazy!
First, check this out. A stunt created a distraction in Hollywood this morning. Well-known prankster Steve-O attached himself to a billboard promoting a new show on his website.
And I think Steve-O, my friend's about to get arrested. I'm wondering if we could get you ready to bail him out.
Look at him, the tape has come off and they're taking him.
The actual being dead has to be okay. I think what's terrifying is I'm not going to be here anymore. We have only one instinct, which is to survive. We have only one guarantee: we won't survive. Really, the big picture of the human experience is to, one way or another, wrap your head around your mortality. I'm gonna die, and how's that okay? And I think that there are 3 ways that people typically have done it throughout history. Number 1 being to reproduce. You know, there's this idea that, yeah, I'll be gone, but my legacy will live on. I'm gonna have children who you know, keep me alive, you know. The other way people wrap their head around death is religion. You know, if they do X, Y, or Z, that they're gonna be in heaven. You know, I'm gonna be dead, but I'll be in heaven. And like, the idea of a heaven which is exclusive to people who subscribe to one absurd belief just pisses me off. I grew up with people of all faiths. If they're not all welcome in heaven, then fuck it, I don't want to go. And then the third way, like the fucking cavemen, scrawling the fucking stick figures on the cave wall because they know they're gonna be dead, but their fucking stick figures will outlive them. Now that's me. That's where I turned to the video camera, you know, as a failing college student. I was like, dude, I'm gonna fail at life because I can't keep a job and I can't fucking go to class. I can't survive. But before I fucking die, man, I'm gonna load up my message into the bottle. And those videos are gonna live on, so when I'm dead, like, it'll be cool because I'll still be alive with the fucking immortality of the video. You know, I think death is pretty easy. In the grand scheme of things, it's gonna happen anyway. It's how you live that's important.
Luck's right. Will you marry me?